Yeah. Well, nothing new with Amir and Dupree and Gas all day today, so we'll kind of evaluate and go from there. So it's another tough game on the road. We haven't had a lot of home games. It's been crazy. It's been like since January 6th, 2 home games. So
I don't think you have any more Saturday home games, right?
I don't know, but it is what it is. Keep plugging along.
With Devontae coming off a career high 3-pointers made, have you been encouraging him to expand his outside shot?
I've just been encouraging him to take good shots. He's got to take shots within the flow of the offense, and I thought last game he did that. So we continue to encourage that. I don't want him to just be jacking him up from everywhere, but just take great shots.
Do you think he's a confidence player where if he sees the ball go in the basket a couple times, that gives him some confidence?
I think everybody's like that. I think it's pretty normal. But yeah, it's when you see the ball go in the basket, it just builds your confidence. So hopefully he can continue to build off it. But I just like the way that he's moving. He's confidently moving, and that's more than shots going in. That's what I'm really looking for.
With some of the second halves you've had, getting outscored in the Northwestern game, Iowa game, do you see the defense taking steps backward as guys?
I think it's the roster.
Yeah.
They're tired. I think we're fighting. You seem to neglect the roster situation. You keep asking me these questions as if the roster doesn't have something to do with it. It does. It is what it is. I think that we're trying to find ways to sub, and we're trying to find ways to give guys a breather. But you get in, like last game, you get in foul trouble, and you're just they're 5 in, 5 out. I just think it's a matter of sustaining it. And we're just having, like the Iowa game, I thought we played pretty well, and Northwestern, we're having like 2 minutes of bad stretches, and it's just kind of ending the game. So we got to find a way to avoid those.
You see Michigan, this is pretty much the same team, but obviously
it's not the same team.
A couple big,
it's not the same.
There's a lot of players back from last year's team, but there's a couple.
Derek Walton and Irving are gone.
Key missing players, yeah. Right? But they've added some pretty experienced guys like a Charles Matthews,
yeah.
Guys. That teams a lot these days are adding those grad transfers or transfers that can come in and impact right away.
Was he a grad transfer? Charles Matthews?
No, I think he sat out, but their teams are adding transfers.
So he's not a grad transfer.
They're adding transfers, grad transfers. You had a grad
yeah.
transfer and a transfer, but teams are adding transfers
yeah.
and grad transfers to help bring experience and guys who can impact right away. When you lose key players like a Walton or what have you, it seems like those guys can step in and help right away.
Yeah, he was a good transfer. Because he's been able to come in right away and give significant minutes and be really good. So that's important when you're getting a transfer, much like we did. I thought Reggie was one of those guys that came in, and I don't know how many minutes Matthews plays, but he's a terrific player. So you never know how the pieces will fit when you add a transfer. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and clearly it's working with him. Within their team, he's fitting right in. Sometimes it takes some time, but not with him.
Right, and moving forward, Devontae is a transfer, but it's taking him a little bit more time.
Well, he tore his ACL.
Right, but obviously, just because you bring in a guy, that doesn't necessarily mean that it might take some time for him to, even without injury, it might.
Yeah, but he sat out 2 years, so it's normal for it to take time. You guys are struggling with your questions. Is Super Bowl fever?
Right.
Yeah, I think that Devontae's adjustment has been 2 years out.
Right.
Transfers are funny, everybody's kind of obsessed with 5th-year transfers. Well, sometimes if you get the wrong one, it doesn't work, because they're in a rush.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, it's taking you some time, but that's okay.
It normally does.
Devontae, I thought Devontae, I think his injury certainly hampered him to where I just think when you tear an ACL, and he's done it 3 times in his career, it's normal to be, okay, you're going to make a basketball move and then be concerned. I do think that movement-wise, he's looking good. So we'll see. Motts is obviously sitting out, and we'll see. I told him yesterday in practice, I said, Motts, we're losing all of our big guys. You've got a great opportunity right in front of you.
Right. How does he look?
you know, he's looked better. So, you know, I mean, he's getting more reps, obviously, which is good for him. You know, transfers are tough. Sometimes they look disinterested, you know, and as a coach, you're trying to develop them, but you're really locked in on the players that are going to play. You know, but he's looked good, and you know, I think the more this month we're going to be able to get him in there more.
Right, and it's something. Excuse me, moving forward. You know, with recruiting and the fact that there could be in the future transfers that could play right away.
Yeah.
The NCAA is looking into that. I mean, that's going to continue to be a factor in recruiting.
Yeah, I mean, if they do that, what they say they're going to do, that is going to drastically change our sport. There's going to be a lot of coaches a lot nicer in those lines, you know, hey, great game, you know, hang in there, keep your head up type deal. But that'll be really interesting. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I actually don't think it's wrong, and I get why they're doing it. You know, but it's hard. People are emotional in today's world. Like, you know, you don't play a couple games and you want to transfer. You know, and it's like Isaiah is a perfect example. Like everybody, what's wrong with Isaiah? Well, he's got 4 years to figure this out. So people are not patient. So that'll be interesting if that does happen. That's going to substantially change our game.
Right.
You probably answered this after the Iowa game, but encouraged by Isaiah's performance in that one.
Yeah, he was. You know, it's taken Isaiah some time just to understand the speed of the game and how hard he needs to play and develop great habits in practice. That's taken time, and I do feel like we're breaking through in that over the last 2 weeks. You know, just from the little drills that he's, you know, his effort in the drills, I think it's gotten a lot better. You know, his seriousness about little things, and freshmen are normally like that. They're normally not very good. I thought versus Iowa, he was playing hard, and that's all we ask.
Nate, I mean, obviously Dupree tried to limit his minutes in the second half.
Yeah.
With Nate, it's just one of those games where obviously the main focus.
Yeah, you know, he just wasn't making shots, you know, and I think he was pressing maybe a little bit. You know, Dupree was, I just try to get him out, and, you know, he's so tough. And I could just tell that he was shooting and he was landing on one foot. Like, he didn't want to land on that other one. And I just kept saying to him, like, man, are you all right? Like, well, let's just get you out. And he's like, no, I'm playing. Right. And so, you know, it shows great toughness. That's what, you know, it's all about. But, you know, for me, I'm like, man, I don't want you out there playing injured. So I tried to get him in, get him out. And every time I'd get him out, he'd be like, I'm fine. You put me back in. But then you could clearly see he's limping. You know, so what he's been able to do the last month really is remarkable, because I don't know a lot of guys on our team who could play the way he's played without practicing. And he does not practice. So it's really been impressive.
So is this for him? Is it just a pain tolerance thing? Like,
yeah,
the doctors have said he can keep doing this. It's just, you
yeah,
know.
It's a pain tolerance thing. You know, I mean, and he's not going to be pain free. You know, it's a stress reaction, not a stress fracture. So I guess it's a grade before a stress fracture. And you know, it's one of those things like, how much pain do you want to play in? And he's a low maintenance kid, and he just wants to play. And you know, it's tough because you ask kids, hey, you know, you're all right. They normally tell you I'm fine because they want to play. You know, so it's, but he's fighting through it.
So just after the season, he's going to have a lot of time to rest.
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I think it's one of those things where after the season, you know, it's just not ideal for him. At the end of the day, it's really rest is the most important thing. But I mean, he just wants to play, wants to fight, and you know, you can't fault him for it.